Pain isn't a temporary visitor. It doesn't knock on your door and leave. It enters uninvited, seeps into your bones, and reshapes who you are. You can try to ignore it, but it's always there, whispering, pressing, reminding you that comfort is an illusion. Let me share a brutal truth. Pain doesn't go away. It becomes a part of you, an invisible scar you carry, and you have two choices. Let it destroy you, or use it to mold yourself into something greater. Do you think pain is your enemy? Do you think if you fight hard enough, you can avoid it? Forget that. Pain is inevitable. Every time you try to grow, improve, or achieve something meaningful, pain will be there, waiting for you. It'll show up in the hours of training when your body wants to quit. It'll be there in the lonely nights when you question whether it's all worth it. And yet, it's this very pain that strengthens you, hardens you, and separates you from the weak who never had the courage to face it. Do you know what the problem is with most men? They spend their lives trying to escape pain. They avoid challenges, run from responsibilities, and choose the easy path because they fear suffering. But let me tell you something. The pain-free path is the growth-free path. It's the path of mediocrity. The man who refuses to face pain will never be anything more than ordinary. He hides in the comfort zone where there are no risks, but also no rewards. He lives a small, limited life, an existence that will be forgotten the moment he closes his eyes for the last time. But the man who understands pain, he's different. He doesn't run from it, he faces it head-on. He embraces it because he knows that every moment of suffering is an opportunity to grow stronger. He understands that pain isn't just an adversity but a tool. Every drop of sweat, every sore muscle, every lost hour of sleep is an investment in the man he's becoming. Because pain doesn't destroy the strong, it transforms them. Oh, but it hurts too much. So what? Great transformations demand great sacrifices. You want respect? Then be ready to suffer for it. You want strength? Be prepared to break your limits. You want to be remembered? Prepare to endure the kind of pain that would make others give up. Because it's precisely this resilience that sets you apart. While the weak complain, the strong push forward. While the mediocre search for excuses, the great achieve results. Do you think pain goes away over time? No, it doesn't. It changes, shifts its form, but it never completely disappears. However, if you let it, pain will give you something priceless: resilience. Every time you overcome a moment of pain, you become tougher, more prepared for the next challenge. You become someone who cannot be broken, because you've already faced the worst and come out stronger on the other side. And let me remind you of something. Pain doesn't respect anyone. It comes for everyone, but it tests those who want something greater in life most of all. It wants to know if you're worthy of what you're pursuing. It wants to see if you have what it takes to bear the weight of success. And if you're not willing to suffer, then admit now that you'll never be great. Because greatness is reserved for those who endure what others cannot. The reality of pain is simple. It either shapes you or breaks you. You decide what its impact on your life will be. Will you let it break you, or will you use it to grow stronger? Because in the end, the men who face pain head-on are the ones who earn the respect, the strength, and the legacy that so many desire, but few have the courage to seek. So the question you need to answer is, are you willing to feel this pain? Are you willing to suffer today to conquer tomorrow? Because if you're not, you're just wasting your time. But if you are, if you're truly ready to face this reality, then nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you. Remember, pain doesn't go away. It's your constant companion on the journey. Use it. Become unbreakable. Being a warrior is not an easy choice. It's a brutal commitment to a life of sacrifice, pain, and solitude. Carrying burdens that no one else could endure is the price of being a warrior. It's about facing what others flee from. It's about bearing the weight that would bring anyone else to their knees. And yet, this is exactly what sets you apart. What elevates you? What makes you unbreakable? Do you want to be called a warrior? Then prepare to live a life that few have the courage to face. Most men seek a comfortable life, where decisions are easy and days pass without challenges. They live for immediate pleasure, for superficial rewards, and they complain at the slightest sign of difficulty. But the warrior? He chooses the opposite. He doesn't seek comfort. He seeks purpose. He understands that every battle fought, Every drop of sweat shed, every wound endured, brings him closer to his mission. He doesn't live for himself. He lives for something greater. And it's precisely this that makes his journey so heavy, but also so grand. You want to be strong? You want to be respected? Then stop expecting life to be fair or easy. The warrior knows that fairness is an illusion. He doesn't complain about the hand he's dealt. He plays it masterfully. He doesn't seek sympathy or understanding. He carries his burdens in silence, knowing that the world doesn't care about his pain. Because, in the end, the world doesn't remember those who complain. It remembers those who conquer. The life of a warrior is marked by loneliness. Not because he has no allies, but because his journey is unique. Few understand the weight he carries, the tough decisions he makes, the sacrifices he endures. While everyone else is sleeping, he's awake, planning, training, preparing for the next battle. While others are enjoying themselves, he's sacrificing momentary pleasures to build something lasting. And even so, he doesn't complain. Because he knows this is the burden he must bear to be great. And the sacrifice? It's constant. The warrior sacrifices comfort, time, and even parts of himself to achieve what others can't even imagine. He sacrifices nights of rest, moments of leisure, and often the approval of those around him. He accepts this because he understands that true glory doesn't come without pain. He knows that every sacrifice today is a brick in the foundation of his greatness tomorrow. While others live on the surface, he digs deep, searching for something most will never have: purpose. But don't be mistaken, the weight the warrior carries isn't just physical. It's mental, it's emotional. It's the constant pressure of knowing that every decision matters, that every mistake could be fatal. It's the responsibility of leading, of protecting, of persevering, even when everything inside him screams to stop. That's the real test. It's not just having the strength to fight, but the strength to keep going, even when the world seems to be collapsing around him. And do you know what's most challenging? The warrior rarely receives immediate recognition. He fights in silence, works in silence, and often his efforts go unnoticed. But he doesn't fight for applause. He fights because it's who he is. Because that's what it means to be a warrior. To fight battles no one else would fight, to bear burdens no one else could bear, and still keep moving forward. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Being a warrior means accepting that you'll walk alone in many moments. That people may not understand your journey, that they might even criticize your choices. But you keep going. Because you know this journey isn't for everyone. Not everyone was made to bear this kind of weight. And that's exactly why so few reach the top. Most quit along the way because they don't have what it takes to endure the burden. But do you? That's the question you must answer for yourself. So, tell me, are you prepared to carry this weight? Are you willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to be great? Because if you're not, admit now that you're not a warrior. But if you are, if you're truly ready to face every battle, every pain, every sacrifice, then nothing can stop you. You will become the example others follow, the living proof that strength lies not only in muscle, but in the mind and heart. The life of a warrior is an endless battle, but it's also a life of meaning, of honor, of purpose. And in the end, when you look back, you'll see that every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every sacrifice was worth it. Because you didn't just live, you conquered, and that's the legacy only warriors leave behind. Strength is a burden few understand. They see the warrior, but don't see the weight he carries. They see his firm stance, his achievements, but they ignore the nights he fought alone against his own demons. They assume that because he's strong, he doesn't feel pain, doesn't need support, doesn't have doubts. But let me tell you something. The stronger you become, the lonelier the path. Strength pushes people away, not closer. Because people don't know how to deal with someone who can bear what they never could. You know what I'm talking about. That deafening silence when you're in the midst of an internal battle, but no one asks how you're doing. Because to them, you're the strong one, the unshakable one, the one who never needs help. They come to you for solutions, advice, support, but they never stop to ask, and you, how are you holding up? That's the price of strength. You become the pillar that holds everything up while no one notices the cracks beginning to form. But do you know what's cruelest? When you finally falter, when you show even a fraction of your pain, they judge you. You, tired? You, weak? As if being strong means being immune to suffering, as if you don't have the right to feel overwhelmed. They forget that even the most powerful warrior needs moments to recharge, to heal the invisible wounds accumulated along the way. But you can't expect them to understand. Loneliness is the constant companion of strength, and accepting this is part of your burden. And that's exactly why so few choose this path. Being strong isn't just about carrying the weight of your own battles. It's about carrying the weight of others' expectations. It's knowing that while others can crumble and be comforted, you must remain firm. Because to them, you're the example. You're the rock. And no one ever asks how the rock withstands the storms. They just expect it to always be there, unshakable, bearing everything.